we just got Shane Mosley in the building, so I'm gonna get in transition to him, but not before I screen share. Yeah. Where is it? Where did it disappear to? His very sexy garage, man. Check out this man cave. And obviously the man in question, Andy Ruiz, capturing the belts in the unification. But shout out to Abe once again, has been a sponsor of the show for 5 years. We appreciate you. But now we have, it's the champ in the building, Shane Mosley Jr. Oh my God. Listen, we were just talking about the importance of, seeing fighters in the gym, right? Because Tyrone Sponge is obviously receiving a lot of hatred, a lot of who's this guy? Why is Andy fighting this guy? But I've been in the gym with him and Pedro Diaz. I've seen him spar the Croatian heavyweight Filip Hrgovic. So it's like, yo, don't sleep on this guy. Right. Same way I told him, yo, Shane is big as hell. He doesn't look small. Like I'm obviously East Coast, so I picked Gabe. I've been having this long relationship with Gabe since he's been at Home Depot. But I told my audience, I wouldn't be surprised because you're looking really good with Bones. Sure enough, you looked fantastic in that fight. They're calling it your best performance yet. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, this was the biggest fight thus far, and I definitely feel like it was the best performance thus far. It was a great win for me. Yeah.
What do you accredit it to?
I credit it to, obviously, my team, to the Most High, which is, Yahweh, and staying focused.
You seem to let your hands go more. Was that something you guys worked on, something Bones wanted from you, or were you just seeing the openings and because they were there, you took those opportunities? It wasn't necessarily that you were more active than normal.
Well, I mean, I think it's a collection of both. Obviously, we worked on, keeping them busy, obviously, touching, but I saw the openings as well.
Nice. Now, Tim, this was your first time fighting at super middle in like 5 years. Right. How did you feel physically? Obviously, you performed very well, but how did you feel? How did your body feel? And are you considering staying at 68?
Well, I guess we'll start off with the first side of that, which is I felt like normal. Like it didn't feel any different really, because I feel like I'm gonna go to the same spot like weight wise when I rehydrate and things like that. So the weight necessarily doesn't really matter. But I guess to answer the other question, which is where am I going to stay? I'm going to stay where the opportunity is. If there's opportunity to, get closer to a championship at 160, that's where I want to be at. 168 seems to be gridlocked right now for, Canelo has all the belts. Unless he plans on vacating them, there's not many opportunities at 168, right? So I'm going to go where the opportunity is because I want to be a world champion.
I feel like they're going to offer you the Jaime Munguia fight at 60. Obviously, they're building him. He beat Gabe. Now you beat Gabe. Your last name, obviously, is legendary. So I feel like they're going to want to use your name to build Jaime. You're on the same promotional, contract or company. How do you feel about a Jaime Munguia fight? Did you see his fight with Gabe? And how do you think you would do versus Munguia?
I like that. I like that fight. I think that I would do well. I'm welcome to the challenge. I don't feel like that there's that's why we're here to fight. So I'd have to analyze the fight more and go in with a game plan, but I'm not opposed to that fight at all.
So just because you said you'll have to analyze it more, are you a fighter that does watch film?
Yes.
Okay.
Good. You know how many fighters say they don't watch film? Do you believe them when they say that?
I mean, there's some guys that feel like you need to fill out a situation because you can't really know exactly what somebody's going to do, but you can pick up on habits, you can pick up on tendencies and things like that, which are all good to know. But as far as some guys don't. Some guys, you know, do. I mean, they might be lying. Who knows?
A lot of the people that we have been told, but you know, yeah, I don't watch film. That's my trainer's job. My trainer comes up with the game plan. It's on him to watch, you know, film. So I was just intrigued on what it's like for you. What it's like for you.
Yeah, like so like my dad was really, really huge on watching fight films. When I actually got this fight with Gabe, he was like, all right, I'll watch a little film on him. He calls me back 5 minutes later and was like, he has a tick. And like basically he has a tendency to do a certain like move
over and over. And he was like, it's unconscious. He doesn't even know that he does it. Like he does it. Were you able to see it live?
Absolutely.
So it showed itself.
Yeah, right away.
And were you able to capitalize and actually land the shot, or just able to see that tick?
Well, you just see it over and over, right? So it's like a tell. So, you know, maybe that was helpful. I mean, maybe that was part of why I was able to be so successful. I mean, I'm not really sure. I just, you know, was aware of it, and that also, you know, along with a lot of other things. So, yeah, I mean, I thought it was actually kind of funny, like when like people would say like, you know, he's gonna knock you out, or he's an aggressive fighter, because Gabe is actually not an aggressive fighter. If you actually really watch him, he's actually a counterpuncher with nuts and guts. He's just a really, really tough guy, but he wants you to bring the fight to him. And everybody who's ever fought him has.
Now, after the fight...
Is that something that you... Sorry, Danny, I know I do that every day, but it wouldn't be a good day if I didn't cut you off today. Listen, is that something that you guys knew in camp and were working on it? Or is that something you just learned, like, watching the tape?
That was something that I learned watching the tape. You know, the perception is because when you bring a fight to somebody and they don't back down, they just fight with you, right? It's like, oh, they're an aggressive fighter. Like, but like he only does that because everybody who's fought him has tried to knock him out, right? Jaime Munguia, for instance, that was a back and forth fight, but it's because he wouldn't back down. It's not because he was going to him. Munguia was actually going to Gabe, but when the fight was there, it's like, all right, come on. And that's why in the middle of the ring when he fought me, he's like, come on. And I'm like, no, that's your game. I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? I'm gonna hit you, make it seem to everybody else that they saw that big shot, and then move around and keep on getting shots like that where I'm going, boom, yeah, that was mine. Boom, that was mine. Boom, that was mine. You get a collective view of that.
You won the round.
They're gonna be like, well, he won that clearly. You know what I mean? But if it's like boom, 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 I think that guy won. You know what I mean? Like,
no, and that's the funny part about your fight, right? Like, he's had tight fights with other people. Daniel Jacobs, Louis Cubaceres. You know, he's taken to his Instagram and his social media versus Jay Leon, like, oh, I won that fight. I got robbed. With you, he just went to social media and he's like, you know, I was off that night. He was the better man. Credit to Shane. So it's like you got a definitive win where other people... Right. You know, they get the back and forth on social media. How'd that make you feel for it to be a clear win where no one seen it back and forth, where no one had him winning?
Well, that's what I planned for. Because I knew that any other way, I wasn't going to win the fight. How with a performance like I did I get 95-95, right? So if I didn't fight how I did, which a lot of people thought that I won every single round, how does one judge score it 95-95, which is 5 rounds of 5 rounds? How? So I have to make it definitive. And if I fight another way, he wins.
There seemed to be a lot of emotion after the fight.
Yeah.
You know, we saw it in your face. You're climbing on the ropes. Why was that? And
because nobody felt like I deserved to be there. Nobody even felt that I deserved this fight.
So forget giving you a chance to win, just deserving the fight in itself.
Yeah.
You felt that.
Yeah. everybody was like, oh, he gonna get knocked the fuck out. He's gonna get beat up. He's blah, 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 right? And I would rather show you with my actions like I did.
Have you gone back to watch the fight?
Yeah, 3 times already.
Oh, shit,
nice,
damn.
Nice.
I told you I study fights.
Yeah, so going back now and having watched the fight and obviously having fought the fight, where do you think you go from here as far as like improving your skills in the ring? Because you've made it clear like the goal is the title, like it's not anything but that.
Yeah, I feel like I have a lot of growing to do, even especially with this. You know, if I want to be at the top level, right, it only gets harder from here. So I have a lot of improving to get to. This was a great win, but there's a lot more that I need to do in order to really, really be in that top level. So,
what is Golden Boy talking about in terms of activity and getting you back in the ring? Obviously, there are a lot of Golden Boy fighters disgruntled. Most recently, Sinisa Estrada came out yesterday, you know, with her own personal messages on that. So I just want to know, is there a plan now that you got this big win? You know, are you going to be Rashidi Ellis or are you going to be Jaime Munguia and they're going to continue to build off of what you just did?
I would assume that it would be beneficial to everybody involved, me, them, to keep me active. I mean, I don't see, I have a name, I have a big win. I don't see the reason for them not keeping me active within the next 4 to 6 months.
Are you expecting to get ranked at 168 with this win?
I am ranked at 168.
Which because I'm looking on I was looking at the WBC because obviously David Benavidez is there and you know Canelo is there, so I'm thinking that WBC. But you said which sanctioning body?
WBA.
The BA.
Because this belt was the BA. And then I got a.
Oh, they haven't updated. Wow, in 10 days.
Well, no, they update at the end of the month.
Yeah.
They update at the end of the month, so you won't be able to see.
And that was a WBA Intercontinental?
It was a Continental Americas.
Continental Americas.
Yeah, so they'll update at the end of the month. So April's rankings will drop, you know, once April's over.
Now, obviously, being ranked in that WBA, you know fight fans are going to start. I didn't know you were in that sanction, but so now they're going to point their attention to David Morrell, who's not with the zone, but, you know, someone that people are talking about. I think he's only 8-0, too, but he's already got the WBA regular.
Right.
Have you seen him fight since you study fights?
I have seen him fight.
What's your thoughts on the Cuban?
It looks like he punches hard. Yeah. So, yeah, I'd have to look at him some more, but he seemed to be a very seasoned fighter. You know what's the fight for you? And Mike, if you're listening, it's Edgar Berlanga. You know it's Edgar Berlanga. Come on. You know it. You know it. And Top Rank knows it. They'll again, son of a legend, they'll do it because of your last name. You just got to upset the apple card, you know? Yeah.
And he's been put down most recently. You know, he's not looking as solid as he once was. So, you know, it would be for them and Bruce Trampler that barometer fight to see where he's at. Plus, it's a named fight. I think that would be great. Have you ever fought in New York?
I have not yet. I fought in Connecticut. So, would
you give him home court advantage, or would you look to do that neutral if you ever got a Berlanga fight?
I mean, I feel like that would be a neutral fight.
Okay, so no New York City.
I mean, shoot, I love New York, so I mean, I might and shoot the Garden. Like if we fought in the Garden,
exactly,
like, right?
It might be the Garden, especially with the Top Rank connection. You might end up in the Garden versus Edgar Berlanga. Is that big enough for you, or after this win, were you expecting something bigger, or you're looking forward to something bigger? Or is that just right for Sugar Shane? Oh, you don't go by Sugar.
No, Shane Mosley Jr.
Shane Mosley Jr.
I am who I am.
Apologize.
Nah, I mean, like we would just have to, you know what I mean, like see what's there. You know what I mean? Like I'm not opposed to anything. I'm a fighter. I mean, this is why I'm here. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get closest to a belt, and I'm all for, you know, whatever is whatever. You know, like nobody expected me to take this fight, right? Like I'm here for whatever.
Is Anthony Sims still with Matchroom? Junior, Anthony Sims Jr. had the little Muhammad Ali flow.
I'm not. I haven't seen him lately.
Yeah, I haven't seen him lately either. But I know he's with Matchroom. He's ranked in the WBA.
Yeah.
You know, that's a nice style fight, but he moves a lot. It would be two boxers.
Right.
You might have to turn into the aggressor in that one. What do you think? Or do you still stick to your game plan and force a boxer to come to you? How do you do that, boxer versus boxer?
I think I have the ability to make the adjustment. And of course, I mean, like boxers fight boxers all the time, and it's not the, funnest thing to watch. But you have to make your adjustments, and sometimes in a boxing match, a fight breaks out.
So John Ryder is with Matchroom, but that's also Dazn. He's been getting a lot of clout and love. Eddie Reynoso talked about him possibly getting a Canelo fight. Eddie Hearn's been putting his name in that Canelo hat for a December fight to close out this 3-fight deal. Is that a guy that you would consider? And again, would you consider having to go to his home country? Is the UK something that you've looked to do to become a global superstar?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to go to the UK.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, man. I think that would be great. I mean, you want to get as many experiences as you possibly can. You take this thing and do as much as you can with it. So if I can go out there and fight, why not? Like I'm not opposed to any of these fights. All of these are great fights. I'm glad I'm even in the conversation. Before this fight, they were like, "Oh, Shane Mosley Jr. He's just living off his dad's name. He's just this. He's not that good." Blah 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 blah. Now I do this, and we're talking about that.
Yeah, but I'm sure those are things you have heard throughout your career, right? Obviously, being the son of a legend.
There's always going to be that comparison.
No, absolutely. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just glad that I'm being talked about in a serious way. Like,
right.
You're a real fighter. You're not just like, just some guy that's just trying to do whatever, right? So I'm glad that we're even talking about this. So all of these fights and all of these things that we're talking about, it's cool. I'm glad that this is even a conversation that I'm being taken serious.
And just to answer your question, Anthony Sims appears to not be with Matchroom.
Okay.
He fought in Dubai. Cut. He fought in Dubai on the Austin Trout undercard late last year, and then fought on the PBC card in December. So.
Man, you said that and threw me off. I had another. There you go. So there's been a lot of back and forth after Kell Brook made Amir Khan. Chris Eubank has been trying to get him to come up. Brook has said the furthest he'll go is 155. Eubank is saying come to 60 if you want your biggest payday. You fought everywhere from 54 to 60. It's now 68. Again, Brook is someone that had a relationship with Eddie. Eddie has a relationship with Dazn. Possible fight. Is Brook or Chris Eubank someone that is on your radar?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think both of those guys would be great fights. I think also that would be a cool fight. Chris Eubank Jr., Shane Mosley Jr. That'd be a pretty cool fight.
That is right. That's probably the better fight. Two
sons of legends.
Yeah, man.
Right.
Title it. Legends coming into their own or something snappy and jazzy. But we got some questions from the people here. Let me go ahead and pull up your post. We let them know you would be coming on the show.
Yeah.
So some of your loyal fans obviously have some questions. Actually, I have it here. Boom. All right. First up, we have Rue in a 504, which is New Orleans. We probably should have went to these first. He says, do you plan to continue at 168? You kind of answered it unless you want to get a little more in depth.
Yeah, I mean, most of this conversation has been talked about 168. But I mean, I would definitely be like in my mind. I think that there's more opportunity for me at 160. You know what I mean? Like, so I think that especially like now, like all these people, all these guys are going up to get that Canelo fight, which is cool, but that vacates belts
at
down
60.
below, right? So it's like, all right, if I want a belt, they vacate, put my bid in. Hey, I'm here. I'm willing to weigh 160. So, and then I campaign there for a while and then move back up to 168. So that's kind of where I'm thinking, which all these other fights have been great to talk about. I'm really thinking about moving back down to 160.
All right. I'm glad we reaxed that then, because that was a little more clear.
Yeah.
Anyone in particular on your mind at 160?
No. I mean, because I haven't even really looked at the ranks at 160 as far as, I mean, obviously there's Charlo, there's Triple G, Munguia. But Munguia has a fight. I think Charlo's moving up. And then it looks like Triple G's moving up. So, I mean, if he's going to be fighting Canelo, like they talked about after Canelo beats Bivol, and yes, that's a prediction. You know, I mean, I think that goes up. So I don't know who's going to be at 160 and what's the possible fights. But whoever it is, if it makes sense, I'm all for it.
Yeah, the rumor is Munguia, Daniel Jacobs, June 11th, if all goes according to plan. And obviously Gennady just unified with Ryota Marotta, and if he fights Canelo, he would have to move up. The thing is, will he vacate before moving up, or will he move up to fight and challenge and, you know, lose and come back down as a unified champ?
Or will he even be able to fight after the Canelo fight?
Yeah, is he retired? But that's kind of what you said, vacant titles.
Yeah, so
because if he's not able to fight, he's got to vacate.
Exactly, and it's like also too, it's like he's 40 years old. He gets another fight with Canelo, which, I mean, how Canelo
41 now.
Yeah, no, he's 40. I think.
Yeah, he just turned 40.
Oh, I thought he turned 41.
Oh yeah.
My apologies.
So he just fought Murata, where Murata's no, you know, Canelo, and imagine if Canelo was hitting with some of those shots. I mean, I feel like it's going to be a totally different fight. You know what I mean? Where his 40-year-old body, you know, take much of that.
What you think of that body?
I mean, like the body shots that he was getting hit with.
No. Physically, Gennady, how did he look to you? Like his physique.
It looked like he needed to warm up a little bit. You know what I mean? It looked like it needed, you know, at the first 4 rounds.
So right there at the weigh-in.
No, I mean that looks fine. Like he looks body, how it looks is fine. I'm talking about how it was functioning. The beginning of the fight, you know, it looked like it needed some time to warm up. It didn't look like, you know, like how he once was, where he was coming out knocking guys out quick. You know what I mean? And also that's all. You know, Murata as well. He came out guns blazing and was trying to, you know, match fire with fire, which, you know, is fine. But the beginning of the fight, Triple G kind of looked a little, you know what I mean? He was like, okay, look, did he hurt him? Like, you know, this doesn't look like it's going well. Then once he kind of flipped that switch, it changed, and, you know, obviously he turned the fight around. But when we're talking about somebody like Murata versus, you know, Canelo, totally different guys, totally different beasts. You see what Canelo's been doing lately. Can he stand up to Canelo?
You know, I just had a fighter tell me, like, how can you expect Golovkin to be anywhere near the same? He had 2 wars with Canelo. And I was like, well, in the same sense, Canelo had 2 wars with Golovkin. And to me, since that fight, he's looked the best he's ever looked in his career.
Right. Well, they're also in different stages in their career.
Absolutely.
And were at the time, you know what I mean, Canelo's 31 in his physical prime. You know,
but because he is 31, he's been pro for 16 years. Like,
yeah, but he's still in his physical prime. You know what I mean? Like, that 31 is like, that's, you know,
But when you got over 60 fights, like
yeah, no, I agree with you. No, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, he has more fights than Triple G, you know. But it's like, yeah, I don't know.
No, I think we're in agreement as far as that fight because that's a fight. I was, truth be told, I was rooting for Ryota Murata because I would rather see that fight than to see Golovkin a third time. And obviously this was going into that fight. I just felt, Murata's younger.
Plus, it would have took Canelo to Japan for the first time.
Yeah, and to me,
it would have been big for the sport. I think
to me that would have been huge. So, I don't know how. So now you gave your prediction on the Bivol fight. Why did you say that, and how do you see that fight going?
I think Canelo wins the fight. In my opinion, I don't feel like there's anything that Bivol can do to stop Canelo.
So let me ask you this, right? Because I feel like Canelo, he went on a tear at 68, undisputed in 11 months. Who do you feel gives Canelo his toughest fight? And let's, just throwing it out there, they were even looking at cruiserweight, going to fight Makabu, the WBC cruiserweight champ. So, anything cruiserweight south, like who do you think? Or, this guy thinks he could even beat Rivas.
I don't know if you've seen Oscar Rivas' last fight with Ryan Rozecki, but that's...
Which is now like he's a champion.
Like that's all you need to see.
He's a champion of the Bridgerweight, that new weight class that the WBC implemented. So who do you believe gives Canelo or has the best chance of beating Canelo?
Well, I think I can't think of his name right now, from Canada.
Beterbiev?
He's a tough fight for anybody. Like that guy punches like nobody's business. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that obviously he's a tough fight. At 168, Benavidez, tough fight for anybody, right? That would be a hard fight for Canelo as well. So I think that they both pose challenges at that weight. As far as so that was 168, 175. At cruiser, shoot.
Okoli maybe?
Yeah. I think he'd give him some trouble.
Do you think that they should even go after any title at cruiser? Or do you think like, you fighting a guy weighing in 200, once he rehydrates, no telling how much he is. Do you think that that's a risk that they should even take? Or do you think that the Makabu thing was kind of like a Roy Jones, John Ruiz moment where it's like right opponent, right time? Like we can get this strap now and then come back down?
I really don't think that to him it makes any difference because, he spars with Frank Sanchez. You know what I mean? Like, it's like if you sparring with that guy, and that's a legitimate heavyweight. You know what I mean? And you see him knocking out guys, and he's sparring with
didn't he spar Jeremiah Milton?
Yeah,
no. Yeah. I thought he said that they spoke on it, but it never happened.
Oh,
I thought I seen.
Oh, maybe he might.
You could be wrong. I don't know. Maybe you're right.
I know. Jeremiah was sparring Frank Sanchez, and I know he was supposed to spar Canelo. He might have though. I was under the impression
you're right.
Maybe
you're right.
But definitely interesting. Do you have? You got more questions?
We got more questions from the people before you go. Next one is from Compton. Dual Ingram says, to me, Chris Eubank Jr. is food with a name and money attached to him. Why aren't guys eagerly calling him out, and would you want that fight?
Yeah, I definitely think that's a good fight to make. I'm up for it.
I got Alejandro Vega in Florida that says, who are your ideal and realistic next 3 opponents?
Haven't thought about it. Well, I guess we talked about, Chris Eubank. So, that would be one that could be tossed out there.
Munguia.
Who else?
Is there any losses you want to avenge?
No. Yeah. It is what it is. I mean, if it comes up, cool. If not, I mean, because like the only one that I could avenge is Brandon Adams. All the other guys are retired.
Wow. And it's hard for him to get fights. For Brandon. Well,
I mean, I think that he should wait patiently for the Jamel Charlo and Brandon Castano fight, because whoever wins out of there, I think that he should be the next one up for that.
Really? Is he that ranked?
Yeah, he just beat that one Russian guy. He had got the WBO belt or something like that, and so that's the only reason why he hasn't fought, is because
he's like, waiting on his turn.
Yeah, you gotta wait your turn for that, and so I think that he should most definitely wait his turn and put his bid in and fight the winner of that.
James Valdez, San Antonio, Texas, says the resurgence here is great. Win the other night, champ. Great win the other night, champ. How was your experience in my hometown of San Antonio after the fight? I hope you had a good one. Appreciate you. I got a photo with you at the weigh-in and saw that you gave a lot of time to the fans. Salute to you, champ. So, yeah, man, just tell us about your time in San Antonio and obviously, you know, how the fans treated you and how you received them.
Oh, yeah, man. The fans are awesome in San Antonio. I love San Antonio because I have family that live out there. I used to live in Houston, Texas, so we go out there and visit San Antonio quite a bit. Nevertheless, the fans were great, and I got a lot of love afterwards. People came up to me and at the Denny's and everywhere I was at, and they were asking me for pictures, so it was really cool.
Nice. We got Adrian Hernandez. Congratulations on your win, champ. Tremendos work. How do you feel about a fight with Edgar Berlanga?
So he's answered that. Yeah. That is a good fight, though. Let me tell you, I think that is a good fight because obviously ESPN's really big on Berlanga, and even though, like you said, the opportunities, at least for the titles, are at 60. I think that would be a good throwdown at 68.
New York Bullet. Well, you didn't answer. How do you feel about a fight with Edgar Berlanga?
I like it. It's so funny because I feel like boxing fans are very wishy-washy, right? They're with you 1 second, you have a bad performance, a bad night. Not to say that.
Yeah, it's what have you done for me lately?
Exactly.
You know that.
You know what I mean? And it's so funny because it's like they were like, Edgar Berlanga's the next world champion, and then all of a sudden he has a subpar, like performance, still wins, and they're like, he's shit, It's like, come on, man. Like the guy is a great fighter, and he deserves to be where he's at. But I would definitely not be opposed to a fight with him. I think that'd be actually a pretty fun fight.
I agree with that.
I got New York Bullet, who said, showed some good boxing against Rosado, champ. Respect. As a son of a legend, I'm sure you looked up to your father, but is there other boxers you looked up to growing up?
Yeah. So one of my favorite fighters, obviously, which I feel like is many people's favorite, was Roy.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, I just like the agility, the everything, the
swagger.
Yeah, the swag. He's just super duper talented. I really looked up to him. Also, my dad used to have me watch a lot of Sugar Ray, the Sugars, both of them. Sugar Ray,
Leonard and Robinson.
Yeah. He used to have me watch both of those, and Willie Pep, which was really kind of funny. We used to watch it in black and white.
I was gonna say Willie Pep is definitely taking it back.
Yeah, black and white. So I used to watch a lot of that. But his head movement and his boxing ability was insane.
Who, out of all the 15-round fighters that there was, who would you compare yourself to the most? Like, who do you think you're very similar style out of those 15-round era fighters?
I would probably say something like Sugar Ray Robinson. I would think Sugar Ray Robinson.
Sugar Ray. I mean, that's definitely not a bad person to compare yourself to. But champ, what else you got?
I still got some more from the people. We got Brandon Lenz in Houston that says, with you now having the WBA Continental belt, would you be surprised if the WBA now orders something between yourself and David Morrell, who is the WBA regular at 168? What's your thoughts on this fight? They matching you up left and right, champ.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, and I wouldn't be opposed to it.
What do you think of his height?
Was he 6'4" or 6'3" something?
I'm getting the exact height for you. So this past weekend, obviously, we had Fundora versus Erickson Lubin, and there's people that like, oh, Fundora's unfair. He's too tall. He should be fighting at light heavyweight. I'm like, he made the weight, right? You know, if you make the weight, I think, oh, he's only 6'1". Okay, that's not bad. I don't know why I thought he was taller. I thought he was like 6'3", 6'4".
Yeah, I thought he was too.
Yeah, BoxRec at least has him at 6'1". I thought he was like 6'3", 6'4". So, but obviously then the range. But what? Just really quick, your thoughts on fighting a guy significantly taller than you? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
It shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter. Why? If he makes the weight, that's all that matters. That's what we define weight. Why we have weight classes. It don't matter if he's 7 foot tall. If he makes 168, he needs to be fighting there.
Speaking of that, what's your thoughts on Fundura? Sebastian Fundura kind of getting this hatred on the internet. They're calling him a height bully, a weight bully. I had a caller call in yesterday that said he needs to be fighting cruiserweight or David Benavidez at 168. I'm with you, man. If you can make the weight, you belong in that division. You know, you're the one sacrificing.
Exactly. Whoever, all those people that feel that way need to sit down, or they need to fight themselves. Because, yeah, I mean, he's the one who has to sacrifice and make the weight. I mean, if you think that he's that heavy or whatever the case is, he does whatever he needs to do in order to get to that weight, run, sweat, all that stuff, which is very, very horrible. And he makes the weight. So it's him that's doing the sacrificing and getting hit and, you know, punched and stuff like that. So, yeah.
How long have you been with Bones?
That was my fourth fight with Bones.
Oh, wow. Feel like you guys are coming into your own now?
Yeah. Most definitely.
Jay Miller says, what's up, champ? I remember watching you on The Contender, and it seems like you've made significant progress since then. What did you learn from your experience on The Contender, and how do you think you've improved since? Also, would you recommend other prospects take part in a show like that?
All right, so I think the show, like The Contender, I think it could be good and bad. Obviously, if you do well in the show, it's very beneficial for you. But obviously, by going on the show, right, you have to have a certain amount of time where if you lose, you won't be fighting, right? So you got to believe in yourself, and you really have to take that particular process very seriously. Because if you want to do well in there, and you want to keep fighting, you have to be focused. Obviously, it's easy to lose focus. There's a lot of guys in there that are, you know, poking at you. They're, you know, a whole bunch of personalities, egos, all that stuff. So you got to understand how to navigate through all of that. And I think that that's a good quality to have in fighting. Like for instance, right? Like with all these questions, I'm not like, oh yeah, I want to fight this guy and that guy, and yeah, you know, I'm knocking everybody out. And no, you gotta stay focused and poised, and that's not always the most entertaining stuff to do, but it is the most intelligent thing to do, because I don't want you to see me coming, right? If I'm gonna hurt you, I hurt you the most when you don't see me coming, right?
Absolutely.
That's why even with this past fight, it's a great fight. I'm excited. I can't wait. I'm glad for this opportunity. This is an incredible opportunity. Thank you, champ. Blah blah blah. And then when we get in the ring, holy shit, what was that? Right? And that's what you want. How do you knock out anybody? What punch knocks out anybody?
The one that they don't see.
A sucker punch. The one that they don't see. Right? You can knock out anybody if you blindside them. Boom. Right? But if they can see it, they may be able to brace for it. Right? So that comes with the poise. And so on the Contender, everybody was talking, oh, this, that, I'm going to win this, and and I want to fight this guy. Me, quiet. And I think that you have to be that way.
I have Chingong Abe that says, Ax Sugar Shane, Ax Jr., what is the biggest thing, most important thing that he's learned from his dad, Sugar Shane career in the ring? Not in the ring, but business-wise. And he just wanted to say he met your dad and you one time at the lobby bar, and your dad is his favorite fighter.
Business-wise, like the business of boxing, I'm going to assume?
Yeah, out of the ring. He wants to know, like, what did you learn the most from your dad's career out of the ring?
Okay. So I would say, oh, that's got me stumped a little bit. Yeah, just keep goals, I guess.
All right.
Stay goal oriented.
We have only about one more, I think, from Chick Chickarelli. He says, yo, champ, respect from Hollywood. Love your dad and loving you now. That you won me a bag over Rosado. Thank you. Can't wait for your next fight. So just sending you some love. He bet on you.
Yeah. One guy came up to me in San Antonio, was like, man, I won $1,000 on you, man. Wow. I was like, that's dope, man.
Do you ever send someone like, yo, put it on me, man? They counting me out. Put something on. Like, do you, like your own money? Like, do you send your lady or, I don't know, your brother? Do you have a brother?
Yeah, I have many brothers, actually.
Oh, wow. Look at that. I don't think anyone's put that story out there. How many siblings?
I got 12.
What?
My dad doesn't have that many, but my mom has 8 kids, and my dad has four.
How have I never heard this? This is crazy.
I mean,
wow,
why would you care about my mom? My mom and dad had me, and then, that was it. So after my dad, she had
You in touch with everybody?
Oh yeah, like most of them live out here.
Okay,
yeah.
Nice. So that support is there. That's what's up. I think that was the last one, Shane. So if you have any social media you want to give out, anything you want to, direct our listeners to, maybe merch, maybe any events you may have that you need them to show up, or YouTube channels, whatever you want to do, it's on you, champ.
Yeah. So my Instagram is at Shane Mosley Jr. My Twitter is at @1 Mosley Jr. And yeah, follow me. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching. I thank you for all the support.
So we thank you for coming in early,
Absolutely.
champ. I mean,
thank you for joining us.
We
here.
are grateful because a lot of fighters like 7:30, 8 a.m. Like, oh hell no.
We over here trying to be the Breakfast Club of boxing. They like, bro, I'm trying to wake up a little late. I'm like, yo, do your road work, then come in.
Right.
But we're gonna take a quick intermission, take some pictures with Shane. We'll be right back. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button so people can see this magnificent interview with Shane Mosley Jr.
Hold on, was there any on members?
Ooh, good question. Let's see.
And the answer is
still coming, bruv. Still coming. I got to get to that tab. All right, community. What do we got? Yo, stop putting the press. There we go. Shane Mosley. We do got 2 more over here. All right. From Caleb V, he says, I was very impressed by your performance against Rosado. I am a new fan of yours and will be rooting for you. What is your plan for the rest of the year?
Yeah, so my plan is to hopefully have 2 more fights this year. That would be great. But I guess we'll get him anywhere between 60 and 68.
There we go.
And we'll see where it goes from there.
Well, you definitely have a consensus of who people want to see you in the ring with.
Yeah,
we got KDDR, who says, first off, congrats on the win. Very impressive over a veteran like Rosado. Seeing you and Edgar are fighting in the same division, is that a fight you're interested in or would like? If so, how soon do you see that fight taking place? That's a good spin on that question. How soon would you want that?
Oh, well, we'd have to see how,
the deal structured?
Yeah, the deal structured and all those things. There's a lot of components to that, but yeah, I mean.
What would be your sticking point?
What do you mean?
Like, what do you need to make that fight happen? Obviously not talking dollar signs.
Well, I got to see if there isn't any opportunity at 160, right? Like, because if there is one opportunity at 160, I want to take that, because like this is great, and I'm, I have a lot of, buzz around that. But what if I'm champion at 160, the middleweight champion at 160, and then go up to 168? Then we talking about a different conversation with somebody like Berlanga, and then that fight may be for even a title fight rather than just a fight, like who's just better. Right. You know what I mean? We could talk about a champion fighting another champion, right? Like that would be something that I feel like is more appealing.
That makes sense.
It does.
That makes sense. Obviously, it's kind of like the whole Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford thing. They're like, oh, make the fight now. And I'm like, why make the fight now when Errol could win another belt and then make it for undisputed? It's like, right. I'd rather see it for all the belts on the line and only have one name, right, one face in the division and now, should Errol win Saturday, that puts him in position to potentially earn more money because he is not a 2-belt, but now a 3-belt holder. So
right.
Obviously makes perfect sense. So that was the last one on YouTube members?
That was the last one on YouTube members. Time for the intermission. We'll take this quick picture and we'll be right back.
For the video, feel free to hit the like, subscribe, and share. As always, if you want to support us to the next level, head over to the patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. We have tons of exclusive from Border Wars, Untitled, betting shows, the list goes on and on and on. But in addition to that, if you guys have questions for fighters, trainers, and promoters, this is where you can submit them. We will run out, get these questions answered, and put it back on the show just for you guys. Appreciate it. Peace.